Hello and welcome. Welcome to this mid-morning taste challenge. I have two bourbon whiskeys, two sour mash bourbon whiskeys, actually. They're not from the same state. This is Gooderham and Worts, a company started in 1869 in Canada, then they expanded to the U.S. Then they got bought out by Hiram Walker, who got bought out by some other people. So now this particular product is in the hands of Laird Company of New Jersey, but it says G&W Private Stock Kentucky Sour Mash Straight Whiskey Bourbon, aged 3 years, from selected reserves. That's why they call it private stock. It's bourbon that they, selected from somebody's stocks, probably on an auction or some kind of deal, and they bottle it in New Jersey. But it is Kentucky straight bourbon, and it has been on the market since 1933 when Prohibition ended. Okay, first time the trademark was used. I found this liter bottle. Make sure it's a liter. Looks like a liter. Yeah, 1 liter bottle. I found this liter bottle at a liquor store in New Orleans, Louisiana, a liquor wine store. Unfortunately, they closed. No longer open as of May 2025. They used to have a good craft beer selection, pretty good whiskey selection and wine, but the liquor stores have a hard time making it in Louisiana just because grocery stores and convenience stores can sell beer, wine, and liquor. All right, but that's the case. It was $8. I was getting ready to go to the Tulane football game. I figured for $8 for a liter, I'll take the risk, and it was no risk. It's pretty good stuff. Okay, here, and it's aged 3 years, by the way, 3 years. Not long, but not the minimum. Okay, so here is Nelson's Green Brier, Tennessee, handmade in a factory, handmade sour mash whiskey. That's an old turn of the century, not 19 to 20, but 18 to 19, turn of the century label that they recreated for the modern brand. Introduced in 2014, Nelson's Distillery in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, this is a Tennessee whiskey, sour mash. Doesn't say straight whiskey, it just says Tennessee whiskey, which might, now it's charcoal mellowed. They drip the whiskey through sugar maple charcoal. That's a requirement. So it's charcoal mellowed. Then it's aged for 2 years, only 2 years. So it's a young product. Runs about $28.99 if you can find that deal. $28.99. Walmart had it for $10 when I bought this. $10. You know why? They were getting rid of it. It must have not been doing well, and I've never seen it at Walmart since. But I took advantage of it. You know, why not? So $8 a liter for this G&W Gooderham and Worts. I think I have seen it at other liquor stores in Louisiana, but it's rarely seen. So it is not a common product. Well, it might be in New Jersey, might be in Kentucky, not here. But I have seen it. Wasn't $8 for a liter. That was the deal of the month. I was going to go to a Tulane football game, and I got there early. So I was like, let me go look over at that store, Same old stuff in there, nice, but by the checkout, I said, $8. Well, definitely. So I bought it. That was about 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Went put it in my car and then went to the game. So 80 proof versus 91. You would think I'd be able to tell a difference, but then I did get it wrong 4 times, and I've only gotten it right 3 times on this Nelson's Green Brier series. So that's not really that good of a track record. Can't see up close with these glasses. Okay, so that's the G&W. It's lighter. It's still copper, but it's lighter. This one is copper and just a little tiny bit darker, but not enough to make a difference. So let's go to the websites. G&W Private Stock Bourbon, 80 proof, a Kentucky sour mash bourbon, aged 4 years. Well, they're saying age 4. Bottle says 3 years, and the bottle they're showing says 3 years. So they don't even, do they have their information correct? Because it says clearly 3 years, but they might make a 3 year and a 4 year. G&W Gooderham and Wirtz features a malty biscuitiness and some crackling of toasted fig seeds. Toasted fig seeds. Followed by some sweet sugar notes throughout the finish. Then they show a mountain for some reason that, because, well, they have mountains in New Jersey, but not where Laird is located. Well, I'm not going to click on that video. They also make Bankers Club Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey Reserve. Now, I've seen it, never bought it. There's a Gooderham and Wirtz G&W 86 proof, age 5 years. So I haven't seen that around, but I could probably find it if I use their locator tool. Considering I got more bourbons than I probably drank in my lifetime, not even open. Don't think I'm going to check it out. Okay, Green Brier. $4.99, but yet I could drive to Total Wine and More less than 25 miles away, and it's $8.99. So guess what? I would not do this, but then I paid $10 at Walmart that much. Mash bill, corn, wheat, and malted barley. Is that unusual for bourbon? No, actually usual, or one of the usual. Sometimes it's corn, rye, and malted barley. Sometimes it's corn, wheat, and malted barley. Occasionally it's corn, rye, wheat, and malted barley. It's up to you, however you want to make it. It doesn't really matter. Joey Hill says, morning, Thundering Thursday or Fandango Friday this week. Planning to do Fandango Friday tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern. I don't know I don't know what I'm going to bring. Could I bring, I think I'm going to bring the Gibson's Finest Rare, 12-year age. I got this huge bottle, glass too. It's huge. It's a handle. It's so heavy, and I got it for $9.99. I won't name the store because then y'all are going to raid the store and we won't get the deals anymore. But it's a true story. It's not my favorite whiskey, but it's not bad. It's not bad. And they make a lot of variants of it, and I can't get those. Well, I rarely ever see. I don't really see Gibsons around here. Might be common in Minnesota, not common here, but I did find it. That's what counts. Okay. So put on the lamps. But overcast, kind of dim outside. Morning, Ron. Hope you're well, says Joe Cobb. Thank Joe in Canada. I'm fine. Thank you. Gonna go shopping later. I don't need to buy anything today, but I bought some onions yesterday. Green, yellow onions. I almost said green onions. I like green onions. All right. They grow wild around here in the spring, winter and spring, and they're really good. Here we are again. Ronald the Roy. Okay. I don't know what that is. Cheers, bucko. Same to you, Drewski Brewski. Smell like regular old bourbon, honestly. Nothing special, nothing bad. Yeah, same here. Now, sometimes when I say a bourbon is nothing special, oh yeah, Riot, Ronald the Riot. When I say bourbon is nothing special and nothing bad, I don't mean it's inferior or something wrong with it or you shouldn't buy it. I'm just saying that a lot of these things taste and smell the same, regardless of price. You say, well, how many $300 bottles have you had? Of bourbon? None. But I'd be willing to try them, especially if you're buying. Okay. but I really wouldn't even want them. Like if somebody said, I want to give it to you, I would kind of be discouraged about it because I've got so many unopened bottles. And I know I keep harping on that, but it's the truth. I mean, there has to be a limit, right? I mean, I can't just continue to accumulate these bottles, but there has to be a purpose to it. The purpose would common sense tell you the purpose would be to actually taste it, not have it on the shelf so I can tell people, look what I got. Okay, that tastes like sweet corn. Charred oak, well, I don't know about the charred oak. I got a little sourdough bagel. Now, I don't know, I read that elaborate description on the Laird and Company website for G&W, but fig seeds, dried fig seeds. I don't know what those are even supposed to taste like. Charred oak here. See, these companies are too fancy for me. I can't figure them out. They got tasting notes that are beyond my understanding. I'm getting charred oak, sweet corn, a little caramel corn, honestly. A little bit of minerality and Flintstone vitamin C. This is in my mind now. Now, if that was really the case, right, why did I get it wrong 4 times and only right 3 times, right? Got it wrong 4 times, got it right 3 times. But I got this fixation in my mind now about Flintstone vitamins and minerals. Seems to me it may be more fantasy than reality, because the reality is I have not been able to differentiate it from the other ones. So you get an idea in your head, it's hard to break away from it. All right. Well, me, I'm not saying I'm obsessed with it. I'm saying I'm confused by it. Not obsessed by the idea, confused by the idea. So maybe I should ignore the idea, right? Ignore the concept is what I mean. And I think the answer is yes, ignore it. This tastes like corn flour. Not unlike Linder's sourdough bagels or Great Value, because, Great Value is pretty good sourdough bagels or any kind of bagel. You say Great Value, that's a store brand, you idiot. Who do you think makes it? You think Walmart's got their own bakery? Wrong. You say, well, let's see, they got Tufayan and Thompson's and Linder's. They make bagels. That's your 3 big brands too, that I can think of. Right. That's probably who's making it. And it could be the same exact recipe. They just stop and say, okay, wrap these with Great Value on it. I'm not saying that's happening, but go buy some Folgers medium roast and then buy some Great Value medium roast coffee. Do a blind taste test and you'll kind of see what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. Well, why even say that? Look what this private stock from G&W. It says it on the bottle. It's from Private Stocks. It's a selected bourbon. They select it from somebody's stocks. Who is making all of this bourbon that these people can go and select it? Does it take that long to figure out who's the big Kentucky straight bourbon producers? And I mean big, not some little craft. You say, well, I went to this craft distillery. They only put out a few batches per year, and it's so fabulous. Okay, and I'm very proud of them. But obviously they're not making it because it's going to be some mass producer. Like, let's think of a few. Glenmore, Buffalo Trace, Barton in Bardstown, Heaven Hill. They got a new distillery opening up. They claim on their website September 5th. The first Bardstown distillery, new one in years. Heaven Hill's bringing distilling back to Bardstown. They say really what they've been doing is just having a visitor center. And I think they age stuff there. They got a new distillery coming up. That's on their website. They already preempted the date. They're saying, and then on September 5th, 2025, we opened our new distillery. Well, it didn't happen yet, but they're posting it for when it does happen. That's Pretty bold, right? You're saying this happened, but it hasn't happened yet. But like the Titanic, it's unsinkable. But so let's think about it. Glenmore, Buffalo Trace, Barton, that's 3. Jim Beam, 4 and 5, because I got 2 big ones. Got your Heaven Hill distilleries, they have a few. Let's say 6, 7, 8. Wild Turkey, 9. I mean, you're not really left with too many other choices. So it's obvious that G&W is coming from one of these big outfits. Of course, they're not going to put their name on it. And they're not going to let you know who did it. So it doesn't matter. It's just somebody's bulk. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Somebody's bulk bourbon. And do they make bulk bourbon? Yes. Does some of it come from Indiana? A lot of it does. But it'll say it on the bottle, Indiana bourbon. On an Indiana night. And Kentucky, it'll say Kentucky bourbon. Now, if it just says bourbon, no specific state, that means it's probably a blend of bourbons from different states. And that they even make bourbon in Louisiana in a very tiny amount. They do make it. And rye whiskey, and even rice. You heard me right, RICE, rice whiskey. There's a company, Melick, in Louisiana who produces rice whiskey. Don't know what that would taste like. Probably rice, but which I do like rice, so it might be good. Salute, you patriot. Salute, you American, says Matthew Lee. Well, salute to you. Does this have a good flavor? It does. Tastes like corn flour. That's my question. Could you use corn flour to make a bourbon? If you read your regulation, it just said 51% corn. It doesn't say what type. It doesn't say it has to be whole grain. When I was at Barton Distillery, they were unloading a truck of corn. The truck was full of corn. So they had this hopper below. It's like a thing. And it was all the corn was dumping into this grate. It's like a grate, you can see on the street, and it was falling through the grating down into a basement where they stored the corn. So it was just, I sat there and watched it for like 20 minutes, pouring through. And it was yellow corn. And the girl said, these trucks back up all day long and they dump corn here, and we use it. We pulverize it into grits. And she showed me this hammer, like this huge hydraulic hammer. And she said it comes down like bam, bam, bam. Well, that's grits. Corn flour would just be pulverized into the consistency of flour. I don't know. I guess you could use it any kind of way. It just says corn. Any way you want to use the corn, syrup, grits, flour, meal, and so forth, and then bourbon. Ron, would you recommend that barbecue whiskey? Yes, I would, says Joe Hill. Yes, I would. Assuming you want the flavor of barbecued pork, or, yeah, it tastes like pork with the grease and the grizzle. It's a bizarre product. Or is it simply a novelty and you wouldn't buy it? It's a novelty, obviously a novelty. I would not buy it again because one huge bottle, one standard bottle, 750 milliliters is plenty enough. But I got a deal on it. $9, thumbs up. $9.99. Thank you. The regular price about $10 more. So, hey, take a little sip every Friday on Fandango Friday and say, what the hell? And it's fun. It's good. It would be a good novelty, like you saying, a novelty product, like in a card game or something. Tell your friends, man, y'all want to try something crazy? You're not going to sit there and drink it like it's something special, because it's not really. But it's good for the strange and bizarre, rollicking, fun world of liqueur. Jason Cleveland of Washington State says, good morning, Jay. I hope you have a blessed day. Who wins the World Series this year? Oh, you mean you want me to give you a prediction? Uh, you could say the Phillies, they're in first place, but I don't know. They just seem like they can't get ahead of themselves. Like they get stuck in a rut. And it seems like their players are getting old, like they hurt all the time. They kind of not performing so well. But this might be their last hurrah, right? Might be their last hurrah. Maybe they will win it. Well, that'd be something, huh? That would shock everybody. The Phillies winning it. Well, it won't be the Tampa Bay Rays. Won't be the Chicago White Sox. Won't be the Colorado Rockies. I can tell you who won't win it. Your Tigers, Detroit Tigers. That would be the best, or that would be the obvious choice, which good sense would tell you, yeah, choose Detroit. But I don't know, man. I got a funny feeling about them. I got this bad feeling. I don't know why. And I'm not against them. You say, well, you like the White Sox because that's your arch enemy, the Detroit Tigers. No, that would be the Royals. Because for some reason, the Chicago White Sox have this psychological barrier. They can't beat the Royals. But I think they could win it. Obviously, they're strong. They're powerful. They have a great pitcher, Tariq School. But I don't know. Got this bad feeling about it. I can't even put my finger on what it is. He said, with the Yankees, nah, you know they're not going to win it. I don't know. It's hard to figure out this year, like any other year. All right, but even more so this one. Astros, nah, Astros ain't winning that. But they might compete, you know. All right, this one has more. I bought some Guatemalan rum recently. Rum's my drink of the summer, says Urjo. Well, I think I would like that. Never had it. Probably would love it. This one has more charred oak. Now, the ongoing problem here is, can I tell it apart? And I can't understand it because I'm thinking, give me a break. This is 91 proof, 91 proof. These other little Johnny come latelys, although they came earlier, seems to me if they only 80 proof, it should be a knockout. Like, no chance. Why are they competing? I don't know. I don't know, and I cannot explain it. Does the sour mash process giving them advantage over a higher proof? Is that giving it an advantage? It could I don't know. I don't know anything about that science. That's just talk if I say that. Empty rhetoric. Still, this does seem lighter bodied. Seems milder in every way. I like it a lot. Would I recommend G&W? Well, yeah, especially you can get a bottle for $8 for a liter. Let me repeat that. $8 for a liter. Yeah, you should buy it, but you won't see that happening again. I'm scared to look at the label. I got it. Did you doubt me? You should have doubted me, but because now that puts me at what? 4 wins, 4 losses. Not a good record, but not a shock. Not a shock. Why is it not a shock? It is not a shock because, as much as I like the Nelson's Green Brier, and I do like it, Drewski Brewski says, sorry for swearing. Well, I forgive you. But I'm not a priest, so I can't give absolution. But I think it's better to use nice language than bad. You know, I watch some video channels and they're always complaining like, we don't have enough viewers. And I'm like, I wonder why. Maybe it's because of your horrible approach. Do you have a favorite baseball team? Says Nathaniel. Oh, yes, the Chicago White Sox and the Cubs coming in coming in at number 2. Why do I like the White Sox and the Cubs? Well, because of cable television in 1981, we got cable TV, which back then was like $13 a month. My father was like, it's kind of expensive. I don't know if we're going to get this. But I was fascinated by this. Like cable TV was like fascinating. You're in Michigan, or did they curse a lot in Michigan? Did they use swear words in Michigan? White Sox and Cubs, why are you wearing a Philly shirt? Well, I just feel like when I haven't worn it in a few years, and I figured I'll wear it and I'll wash it. I bought it, I own it, may as well wear it. Not against the Phillies, don't care about them, don't care against them. You know what I mean? It's like it's a team, it exists. I've been to their stadium and the old stadium. Went to you remember that one, built 1970, tore down in 2003, 4. We went to a game in 03. I really liked it. I was like, what's the problem with this stadium? I was telling my friend Paul, I said, Veteran Stadium, right? I said, what's wrong with it? He was like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out myself. But you couldn't see downtown from it. Like you could only see, it was like a bowl, so you could only see the stadium. Big deal. You went to a baseball game. Would are you there to watch a game or look at the skyline? I don't know. I can't figure people out. So, but it didn't matter. Wasn't my money. Well, it probably was, because probably used federal funding. But they taxed us and they tore it down. And I remember I went back in 04 to the new stadium, and it looked terrible because they had all that demolition next across the street, all tore up, looked bad, but then eventually it looked pretty. But so we were fascinated. Well, I was fascinated by cable television, and you had to turn it with a dial, like on a box, like a dial. There was no remote control. What are you, fancy? So but I didn't care. I mean, I was like, oh, there's a channel from Chicago, WGN, and I was watching it, and they had all these strange shows, kids shows, Bozo show. But then they would show games all the time. Usually at night, it was the White Sox, and during the daytime, it was the Cubs, but that wasn't always the case after 1988. And they did have White Sox afternoon games occasionally. And then they had the Bulls, Chicago Bulls. Well, I would watch that. Didn't care anything about the team, but I would watch it. And then we got WTBS at the same time, and they would show the Braves, and I watched those games. And wrestling, which was really lowbrow, but I would watch it just because it was like, it was like pretend, but it was just something to watch. I just thought it was bizarre. It was like this really small studio audience. Looked like they were in somebody's living room, and they would have these matches. And I would say, this is so bad, but then you would watch it because it was so bad, like the Iron Sheik or something. I don't know. It was just so droll. I mean, and I like droll humor, but I would watch the White Sox with their bizarre uniforms, look like something from Cracker Jack box, look like the kids' Navy outfit from Cracker Jack box. So, and I just started kind of following them, watching them and whatnot. And so I figured, well, we don't have a team here. There's no New Orleans team, so I'll just follow them, That's it. That's the answer to the question. Astros, we started getting later with Home Sports Network, HSN from Houston, but they went out of business. But and the Rangers, and then the Florida Marlins, later Miami Marlins, and the Tampa Bay Rays, just because we could drive there and go see them. We could like drive there. And they were we liked them a lot, So that's how that developed. White Sox and Cubs, why are you wearing a Philly shirt? I already explained that. Do you get a cheesesteak? We did get a cheesesteak, and it was at Chicky and Pete's. It was very expensive. It was not worth the money, but it was good. And I know there's other cheesesteak. And then I went to this place a few years later, a few times, called the Palladium. Not that far from the stadium in South Philadelphia, the Palladium. And I liked that place. It was very dark. I mean, it's like dark and like red lights, but it's an interesting neighborhood bar. And I would go back to that place. It might be gone, but by now, but the Palladium, the whole area is interesting. Everything's interesting. Pennsylvania is interesting. Maryland's interesting. Delaware is interesting. Washington, D.C. is interesting. Virginia is interesting. West Virginia is interesting. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana is interesting. They're all interesting. That is where the Eagles played from 1971 until 2000. Well, whenever they got their new stadium, and that's why the Phillies got their new stadium, because they were complaining, well, they got a new one. Bozo Super Sunday Show. Yeah, you could win a board game. It wasn't a computer game. It was a board game, cardboard. Pats or Geno's. No, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, anyway, I have been to Detroit to see the Tigers. I bought a lot of beer up there on, what's it called, Woodford Avenue or something like that. The main street's like huge, like Canal Street, New Orleans. Went all the way to the river. I need to go back. It's been 11 years. I told my friend David, I said, we ought to go to Detroit. It's an interesting city. But he said my car is too small. I don't know what he's talking about. My car is like inches smaller than a Corolla, like inches, like an inch narrower than a Corolla and like an inch shorter than a Corolla. But he's like, it's too small. I was like, will you drive a Corolla? All right, anyway, so the winner, I have to give the win to G&W because it costs less, pretty good amount less. It costs less, but it does not taste less, and that's important. Is it a worse flavor? No. Is it lower proof? Well, yeah, it's only 80 proof versus 91. Big deal. If you that interested in alcohol, you might want to do some self-reflection. But yeah, so you don't really lose much. You gain a lot on price, and you don't lose much on flavor, in my opinion. So I'm gonna give the win to Gooderheim and Wirtz, G&W, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Sour Mash Whiskey, on the market since 1933. Will you do a review on Seagram 7 and 7, the legendary 7 and 7? I doubt that. Unless I find pure sugarcane 7-Up, then I would be open to it. I would be open to it. Okay, so y'all take care. My next mix-up, I got some already recorded. The next one I'm going to record, I'm planning to do, it's this new, a new flavor from Sprecher. It's like vanilla and black cherry. And I was like, vanilla and black cherry? Like, who came up with that? But I know Dr. Pepper does these cherry flavor, because Dr. Pepper's like a cherry soda pop with vanilla. So I was like, oh, okay, they're feeding off of that. I was really disappointed in the Sprecher ginger ale. Didn't have a bad flavor. It was just a bland flavor. It was like dulled down. That video should be posted soon. All right, well, y'all take care. Thanks for watching this. The winner, G&W, which is kind of what I figured was going to happen. Do you prefer Dr. Pepper or Mr. Pibb? Well, Mr. Pibb was discontinued, unfortunately. They replaced it with Pibb Extra. They used to make them both the same. They had Mr. Pibb, and then Pibb Extra came on the market. Pibb Extra was like a little sweeter version. So I guess I prefer neither. But if I can find Dr. Pepper pure cane sugar, I prefer that. I don't know if they make a Pibb Extra pure cane sugar, but it's possible. If you go to Louisiana State University baseball, football, or basketball games, they only sell Mr. Pibb. I'm sorry, Pibb Extra. No Dr. Pepper. Never have, never had it, never will. They must have an ironclad contract with Keurig, with PepsiCo, right? PepsiCo, because you'll only see like Frito-Lay chips, Mr. Pibb, Pepsi, and you know their brands. So, or you can look up their website, PepsiCo, and you'll find out. All right, y'all take care. Bye-bye.